Hello and welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to talk about how to move abroad. So let's get started. So for this week, we are going to look at 3 different visa categories, and to kind of keep things organized, we are going to use a rubric. Now on this rubric, there are 4 dimensions, and those dimensions are nationality, language, age, and level of education. So at this point in time, you're probably thinking to yourself, what is a visa? A visa is a legal document that allows you entry into a foreign country. So let's say if you're going on vacation from United States to, let's say, Europe, for a short vacation, you're not going to need a visa. However, if you're planning on living in a foreign country, you will definitely need a visa, and this visa will allow you entry into the country, but this visa will specify what you will be doing in the country and how long you will be staying in the country. The most common visa is the student visa. And if we look at our rubric, so if you look at our 4 dimensions, with nationality and age, there are no limitations. So you can be from any country in the world and pretty much be able to apply to a specific country to study, and that you're not going to be limited by your nationality or age. Now, when it comes to language, there are some limitations in the sense that you have to obviously find a degree program that's taught in a language that you understand. If you speak English, I've found in recent time, there is a trend where a lot of programs at the undergrad level and even at the master's and PhD level are taught entirely in English. So if you speak English, or if you have a high level of fluency in English, then you'll be able to have access to these different degree programs. Now, when we're thinking about education, we also have to look at level of education in the sense that you have to fit, or you have to fulfill the requirements of a specific university. So for instance, if you're applying for, let's say, a bachelor degree, then you have to have all the qualifications that allow you to enter that university at the bachelor degree level. The same would go for if you're applying for a master's degree or PhD, then you have to make sure that your bachelor degree or your Bachelor of Science degree is equivalent and is accepted at the university that you're applying to. Now, the beauty about obtaining a student visa is that most student visas are going to allow you to work. And when I did a little research, I found that most countries are going to allow you to work part-time. However, here in Poland, if you obtain a student visa, you're going to be able to work full-time. And that'd be a great way to subsidize your stay while living abroad. The next visa category is the youth visa. It's also called the youth holiday visa, or it can be called the youth mobility visa. Now, these are just different names for the exact same visa, and it depends on what country you're applying to. And so therefore, if you're applying to Australia, it's called the work holiday visa. And if you're applying, I believe, to Canada, it's called the youth mobility visa. So different names for the exact same visa. Now, when we look at the youth visa, it does have a lot of limitations when we look at nationality and age. So for the youth visa with age, these visas are only granted to individuals that are ages 18 to 30 in some countries and 18 to 35 in other countries. And sometimes for one specific country, it may have 2 brackets where if you're of a specific nationality, you can apply for the visa while you're 18 and 30. And if you're from a different nationality in that same country, you can apply from ages 18 to 35. So it really depends on your nationality. Now, furthermore, when we're talking about nationality, youth visas, you can only get a youth visa from a country that accepts specific nationalities. So it's not the case that all youth visas will be granted to you for a specific country. So let's say, for instance, Australia may not grant youth visas from individuals from specific countries. When we look at the dimensions of language and level of education, it really depends on what you're looking to do when you're in a specific country on a youth visa. Now, obviously, the better you speak the host language and the more educated you are, the greater opportunities are going to be to perhaps work to subsidize your stay or to even work to enhance your experience. So it really depends on you. Some people may be going on the youth visa more to explore, and maybe they have a nice amount of savings where they really don't have to work and they can just be a bit more free, versus other people are really going to depend on the fact that they have the ability to work and are going to need to work in order to really maximize their time and stay in that particular country. The work visa is a visa that I'm most familiar with, as I am here in Poland on a work visa, or in fact, actually, the work visa is what allowed me to come in Poland. Now I am on a temporary residency status or temporary residency visa, and that's what's allowing me to continue to stay in Poland. That is an issue or a form of paperwork that I'm going to talk about in a later video. But when we start to look at a work visa across our different dimensions, if we look at nationality and age, there aren't really any limitations. However, it's according to what job you're applying for. So if you're applying for a job in a specific field, it may require that you have a good command of the host language, or it may require that you have a good command of another language. And so therefore, it may pose specific limitations. Also, when it comes to nationality, again, it depends on what you're doing and in the particular country that you're going to. I know for sure that with the USA, there are incentives for specific nationalities who have nursing degrees or medical degrees to come to the USA. And only those specific nationalities have those incentives. So the same would apply to other countries where you're thinking about moving abroad. Now, like I said, age is not really a big factor. I've met people who live abroad in different countries who are from the age of 18 all the way up to the age of 65. So age is not really a huge factor when you're thinking about working abroad, specifically on a work visa. Now, level of education really depends on what field you're applying to. Now, when you're thinking about coming to Europe, let's say, to teach English as a second language, it really depends on what country you're applying to. So for instance, some countries require that you have a bachelor degree in any field, and that would be enough to obtain your visa. While other countries require that you have a bachelor degree specific to the field that you're going to be working in. So as an ESL teacher, you may need a bachelor degree in education, or you may need a bachelor in linguistics or something related to language. As of now in Poland, you do not need a bachelor degree in order to enter Poland. However, as times change, and as the demand of countries change, that requirement can change as well. But as of now, to come into Poland, you do not need a bachelor degree. All you need to do is to demonstrate that you are a native speaker of English. Now, before I finish this video, I have to just throw out a disclaimer. I am not a professional when it comes to visas or processing visas. I'm just speaking solely on my experiences, on the research that I've done, and on the experiences of my friends. So therefore, if you're looking to move abroad, it is super important to go to the official government sites of those countries and kind of look at the visa requirements. Remember, these requirements are not set in stone, so they can change. And so therefore, it's super important to look at these requirements while you're thinking about moving abroad, and when you're serious about it, to look at the requirements again and to make sure that you fit all the requirements so that it makes the process a lot smoother for you. Now, I'm just going to go back and kind of recap the 3 visa categories, and we're going to look at a little bit more in depth at their weaknesses and strengths. So when we're looking at the student visa, it is the easiest visa to obtain. The only downside to it is that you're going to need to have a little cash up front, and you're going to need this cash to pay your tuition And typically when you apply for a student visa, you have to prove to the government and sometimes the institution that you're applying to that you can financially support yourself during the duration of your study. So this does require a little bit more saving and a little bit more upfront cash. However, remember, if you obtain a student visa, you will be able to work, so that will greatly subsidize your stay abroad. The youth visa is the most limiting visa of all of the categories we mentioned today. However, if you are in that specific demographics or in that specific age and you are of a nationality that is allowed to obtain that visa in a specific country, then I think it's a great visa for you in that it's super easy to obtain. I actually went to Australia on a work holiday visa, and I applied for the visa online. I got the approval for the visa within 48 hours, and I was on my way. When I was in Australia, it allowed me to work at any job I wanted, and so it was a great opportunity for me to go and see such an amazing country. And if you are thinking about traveling, please, if you are of that demographic and if you are of that age, definitely try to get a youth visa. It's one of the easiest visas to obtain. Unfortunately, it does have a lot of limitations. Now, the visa that most of you are going to be applying to is the work visa. And I feel that this visa has some limitations, but it really depends on your specific situation. So it depends on what field you want to apply to and what countries you want to apply to and what language you speak or what languages you don't speak. And that's how I kind of look at the pros and cons of the specific visa. Now, if you're looking to teach English as a second language, again, you have to look at the countries and you have to look at their requirements. But I think that if that's something that you want to do, it's a relatively easy visa to obtain if you fit the requirements. Now, if you just type in your search engine visas, or let's say you're interested in coming to Poland and you type Polish visas, there's going to be a whole list of visas that come up. Now, in this video, I've only mentioned 3, but there is an endless amount of different visas. There's a family visa, there's a spouse visa, and so therefore, those are other avenues that you can use to live abroad. However, for the majority of people, I think that these particular visas are going to be the ones that you are going to be seeking or the ones you're going to be trying to obtain. Now, if you're thinking about investing in a country, there is an investment visa or a business visa. And so those are other avenues that you can go down in order to kind of start your journey living abroad. But with an investment visa and a business visa, that does take more of a risk, and that's going to take a lot more savings and a lot more planning on your part. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that I was able to shed some light on the visa process and to kind of explain how the process is when you're trying to move abroad. Visas are super important, and it is kind of the ticket to your journey. So without a visa, it's not going to be possible to move abroad. Now, if you like this video, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And if you know someone who's thinking about moving abroad in the near future, please share my video with them. Anyhow, have a great week, and I will see you soon.